I have a series on the channel where I go back and beat every zombies game for the first time. And it's recently occurred to me that I haven't beaten any of the original maps because quite frankly, I didn't even know they had 4 Easter eggs. So firstly, I attempted to beat Tranzit, which is essentially made for 2 or more players, but I did it solo, which made it a lot more intense. Then we move on to the possible solo Chronicle maps, Shangri, Ascension, Moon, and Origins. Now I have made an Origins video for Black Ops 2, but if you watch it to the end, I fail. So hopefully this time, I will finally beat the epic masterpiece, which is Origins. Of course, Nacht, Shinanuma, Verrucht, and Kino do not have 4 Easter eggs, so we cannot beat them unfortunately. But if you want to watch those maps, I got to round 100 on every Chronicles map in another video. So for Transit, I decided not to use the bank, which makes this a lot harder. So you can see I stay in the first room till round 3, the lava comes up out of the ground, which is really cool. And then at the end of round 4, I use the turbine to leave the first room. When you don't use the bank on Transit, it's a really sketchy map because there are so few weapons on the map and they're so far spread out. And so I ended up picking up the BO3. So our first spot is the diner, which is probably the most aesthetic place on the entire map with those big shining neon lights. I get off in the middle of the fog here, and I'm assuming most of you guys know, but there's actually a shortcut to town here, which is awesome. I mean, a lot of people complain about Transit. I honestly really like this Easter egg. I didn't even know it was a thing in the game. There's 2 Easter eggs. I'm doing the one that's possible solo, and in my opinion, the better one. So now that I'm in town, I can put the turbine down and grab Juggernog, and then also grab Stamina, and make my way into the fog. Eventually, I did make it to the cabin in the woods, grab the Bowie knife. The Bowie knife is amazing for destroying the gremlins, and honestly, gremlins really aren't that annoying once you get this down. Like I said, I do love this map now. I've gotten to round 100 on it. I had a lot of fun doing it. The Easter eggs are blast, as you will see. My only issue is that the weapons are too spread out. Is there a single weapon in town? I'm like 90% sure there isn't, because the amount of times I ran out of ammo in town and could not find ammo was insane. Make my way to the power facility, turn on the power, and now with the power on, I can use a gremlin and teleport across the map, which took me to a perfect spot. Took me right to the maze, and I make my way to Nacton, and I pick up a part for the jet gun. Now back to the diner, I need to hit the mystery box to get EMP grenades and the ray gun. Second hit of the mystery box, I get the EMP grenades, which is crazy. I make sure to camp in the diner for a little bit with the Bowie knife, so I can get points. Like I said, I still need the ray gun, but eventually I do make my way to this light here. And basically what I'm doing is I'm testing to see if I'm getting my lineups correct with the EMP grenade and the light opposite. The light is still green, which means I've missed it. So I try again, but on this side of the light, I line it up to the left of the pole. And luckily when I got back to the other light, you can see the EMP actually went across the map and hit it. So I know my lineup is correct because I need to hit 4 lights in quick succession for the final step of the Easter egg, which took me 10 hours. Before building the jet gun, I do try and pack-a-punch my pistols, but my turbine didn't work. I do end up building the jet gun, and now I start putting teleporters down on every one of the green lights around the map. I grab a speed caller and then continue my knifing. I still need the ray gun. And boom, I get it at round 13. Now we have everything we need, so I go through the maze again, but on the other side of Nacton, I make my way under here where the gremlins can't get you, and then break my jet gun on purpose. So with the jet gun broken down here, I can now use the ray gun. I need to get 25 explosive kills. As you can see, I'm checking my scoreboard to make sure I do it, and I did. So before going into the final step, it's really important to note that you can only hold 2 EMPs in solo. So seeing that you need to use 4 EMPs on 4 different lamps in about 3 seconds, maybe even less, it seems impossible for solo, and so you need a max ammo. Now's the step that took me 10 hours. So I leave the electrical tower and come to this lamp where I practiced earlier on the lineup, and I kill a bunch of zombies around here. The gremlins don't hit you when you're under the lamp. I throw the EMP of the lineup, I throw it again at the ground, I jump through the portal and jump through it again, throwing EMPs at all of the portals. Unfortunately, the EMP that I threw across the map hit a lamp that I teleported to and then threw another EMP MP out. And because of that, I only hit 3 lamps and I need to hit 4 lamps. This can happen because the teleportation is random from lamp to lamp. On another try, I get a max ammo, do the lineup, throw an EP on the ground, grab the max ammo, jump in, throw the MP, and then I end up at the same spot that I just threw the MPs. So very unfortunate there, but finally. So it took me 10 hours because I failed many times. I would get to like around 40 with like 20 fails of these EMP throws. So it took me all day to do. I finally throw the both. I grab the max ammo very quick, and then I finally finish the step. Blue electricity starts to come out of the lamp, which means that you've completed the step. It travels to the electrical tower, and that happens for every single lamp around the map, which makes it a pretty cool looking scene. However, I have a bunch of gremlins just coming at me constantly because the light turned off, so it was a bit awkward there. So this was really cool because it's essentially an Easter egg for co-op that people finally figured out you can do solo as long as you chuck it across the map and get really lucky with those portals. It took me 10 hours, but I had an absolute blast, and it made me feel even more differently from when I got the round 100 on Transit, which made me appreciate the map, but this made me appreciate it even more. Truly a unique map in Zombies, and it's one where I'm not always looking forward to playing it, but once I hop in, I'm always having a blast. And I feel like not using the bank definitely added to that. Moving on to Shangri, I have to use a mod because it is an Easter egg for 4 players. This just allows me to do it solo, which is awesome. Firstly, I get the power on. Now I can come back to the starting room, and normally in a 4-player game, you all have to press this button at the exact same time. In this modded version, I only have to press one of the buttons, and then it puts me into the Eclipse mode that I didn't even know was on this map, and I've played this map to death. In the Eclipse mode, I can press this button, and all I have to do is walk on the tiles. Now, in a co-op game, you have to match the tiles with a teammate on the other side of the map. Because I don't have a teammate, all I have to do is stand on the tile and it will match it automatically. And as a consequence, you can see the bowl gets lifted up above the button there. I do want to take a moment just to appreciate how good this map looks, especially in the Eclipse mode. I still can't believe I didn't know this was even a thing. After a little bit of time, I get kicked out of the Eclipse mode because I beat that challenge, and I start another Eclipse mode. This is another really easy one. All I have to do is go down the water slide here and press a button on the way and stand on the grating here, which will free Brock and Gary, who are 2 travelers trying to find Agatha, and they're stuck in a time loop because they keep touching the focusing stone, which you'll see later, because they actually help us get it ourselves. So after doing the slide step, this bowl slams down into the rock here, and so I need to get the wonder weapon. I do get the ray gun first and then the wonder weapon. I use the ray gun to knock it down because you need an explosive weapon, and then I use the baby gun to shrink it. With it shrunk, I can now knife it, and then I escort it down this slide and then into the geyser where it flies up in the air, presumably landing on one of these sticks here. I get rid of my ray gun for the Weevil actually, and pack-a-punch the Weevil because this next step's kind of annoying and I don't want any splash damage to ruin it. So I have to escort one of these napalm zombies. A lot of people were telling me this step's really hard. It actually isn't that bad whatsoever. All I gotta do is turn this wheel about 4 times, which pushes gases out of 4 different pipes, and I have to escort the napalm zombie to 4 different pipes and turn the gas on fire. And as you can see, the last pipe turns on fire there. I've done the step. I go back and pull a lever next to the wheel, and now I don't have to worry about the napalm zombie again. I definitely didn't think that was a hard step. I run to the waterfall here, which says don't hold. It's actually a waterfall trap. It's not very effective though. It doesn't kill the zombies. I then had to knife these symbols around the map. There's 12 of them, I believe. Super easy. Just run around the map finding them and knifing them, and then throw a grenade at this wood. After this step's finished, of course, it kicks me out of the Eclipse mode. I go back into the Eclipse mode and set these 4 puzzles with the right symbols facing upwards. This is again really easy. It only is hard if you have zombies because you are in the mud pit. I pack-a-punch the baby gun, and now I have to hit these gongs around the map. And if I hit the right gong, it will not shine red. If I hit the wrong one, it will shine red. So I have to hit 4 of them. And once I've hit 4 of them, I use my upgraded baby gun to shoot the shining balls. But unfortunately, I forgot to hit a radio, so I had to restart my entire game. And so this run, after I did every single step, I would use the radio, and because of that, I can now do the gong step again. I get the balls lit up, I shoot my baby gun at it, and the dynamite actually comes off, which is awesome. So this is Gary's dynamite. He dropped it on his way to the temple. Now this step's really cool because I shoot this ball here, which then shrinks the focusing stone so we can pick it up later, which is pretty epic when you really think about it. Considering that's a very good use out of the weapon that shrinks things, you really are missing out when you don't do the Easter eggs, because the maps make so much more sense in general. So now I make my way up these stairs and I need to use the dynamite to blow up this wall. So I'm passing it through to Gary and Brock. The first time I went up there, I never passed the dynamite on accident. So I went back up there and passed it in and they blow up the wall, but we pick up the focusing stone. We also get given Perkaholic, which is awesome. And a radio spawns at the bottom of the stairs, from which we learn that Brock and Gary are in a time loop. So going into Shangri-La, I thought it was going to be a pretty lame Easter egg because it's such an early game, but it ended up being a rather epic map that is definitely made even cooler by the story and the setting. I really had no expectations going into this and I absolutely loved it. So I thought Shangri-La would be simple and small. Turns out it wasn't, but Ascension turns out to be that. Nowhere near as epic as Shangri-La or Tranzit that we've already done, and hence the Kermit character. So firstly, I get on the power, the saturation with the green hands looks amazing, and for this game, because I'm using Kermit, I wanted to get those hand animations in, so I picked up the sickle. I also need to get the Thunder Gun, the Ray Gun Mark II, and the Gersh devices. And luckily, I do get the Ray Gun Mark II, then the Thunder Gun, then the Gersh devices by round 15, which is pretty good. I threw a Gersh device outside of the map onto this electric box here. I interact with this machine and wait specifically for a monkey round, from which I press on this red button. And it's at this moment I realized you can't have two mods running at the same time. I had to change games, get rid of my Kermit mod, and then put on the solo mod. Because again, just like Shangri-La, you can only do this 4 players. I activate the rocket and then blow it up with the Ray Gun Mark II. Now I can stand under the rocket platform and the timer on the clock starts. And we have to stay in the circle here for the whole 2 minutes. It actually was a little bit sketchy. I nearly ran out of full ammo, but I did have my Gersh devices and I got the death machine last second anyway. You can see the timer went back to the start. A white flash comes in, eliminating all of the zombies, and then I pack a punch both the Ray Gun Mark II and the Thunder Gun. This is a bit of a weirder step solo because you get your friend to ride the lander whilst you call it in. But in this, it's only me, so I call it in and the lander will just pick up the letters for me. As you can see, the letter L is our first one. You have to do it in a specific order, so I come to the spawn room, activate that lander. Unfortunately, we can't see that letter because we are underground. Go over to speed caller and activate that lander and we get the letter N. The lander will go over it and pick it up for us, and then come back to the stamina up lander and it will pick up the letter A for us. So it spells Lunar Lander. An oddly enjoyable step, I might add. But you might notice I'm at round 25, so it took me a while, even though it's a very easy thing to do. Now that we've spelled Lunar Lander, I can kill all of these zombies here, and there's a white little dot on the ground there, so I throw the Gersh device at it. You need the Gersh to be on it. And then I shoot my Pack-a-Punch Thunder Gun 4 times, and then spam my Ray Gun Mark II, and you will see here that the white light starts to lift in the air, and you can see this monkey just fly in the air there. But I get my Perkaholic, and also a free death machine. That's the Easter egg. By far the worst Easter egg out of the 5 I'm doing in this video. But I'm still glad I did it. I think it's the first main Easter egg, so what can you really expect? I'm just glad that I was able to do it. And also, I'm definitely giving it extra points just because it is the first map. Because without it, we might not have had all the great times after. So now it's time to blow up the earth in a video game. First thing I do towards this venture is throw a grenade in this corner, causing 2 pieces of a material to break off. I will definitely need these 2 pieces later, but first my main priority is to get as many points as I possibly can in No Man's Land. I do have Juggernog here, which is awesome. I did get Sword Flare out of the Gobblegum machine, which gives enhanced melee damage, and so this is massive, as I'm able to leave No Man's Land with nearly 10,000 points. This allows me to get the power on straight away, have a good look at the view of one of the missiles that's eventually going to hit Earth, and also do the Simon Says challenge in relative peace. This is really easy. Like I said, it's Simon Says game, so it shows a color, and then you have to copy what color it shows, as each machine resembles a certain color. Very easy stuff. Still on round 1, I grab the hacker and hack this device here, which then initiates 3 more devices that I need to hack. This is all very simple, very easy, slightly boring, but this Easter egg definitely goes from 0 to 100 pretty fast. I have to run along these devices here and press on each one of them in quick succession. On my very first hit of the mystery box, I get the wave gun, which is pretty insane because it's quite rare on Moon. I need to now get the Gersh devices, and that was round 2 when I got the wave gun. 15 rounds later, I finally get the Gersh device. It always takes ages. I then come back to Earth and throw the Gersh device on those 2 pieces of material. The Gersh device sucks it up and puts it on the moon. I made sure that Tunnel 6 got destroyed, and now I'm hacking to remove the excavator now, as I will need that open, but I did purposely allow it to be destroyed. I grab the steel cord and get the quantum entanglement device, or for the QED. I have to pack-a-punch the wave gun, and once I am brought back into the quick revive room, I throw the QED down on those 2 pieces of material, and they spawn over by the computer, and I can put the viral device between them, with the metal rod connecting the viral device to the computer. So we've pretty much built a computer to charge the viral device, which after interacting with the computer for a while, it does charge it. And now I can come over to tunnel 6. Like I said, it got excavated, and there is a viral sphere in here, which I'm just going to refer to as a ball. And so I can shoot the ball around the map, and I need to bring it all the way to the pyramid. But first, as it goes outside, it gets stuck onto the satellite, and this is why I needed the wave gun upgraded, because with the wave gun upgraded, I can shoot the top of the satellite where the ball is, and it will pop back out, and it will go into tunnel 11. So it does go over the power switch and into the pyramid. I interacted with the pyramid, and now I have to fill the soul boxes. I can then hit another switch from which the pyramid opens and Samantha is revealed, giving me a death machine. I have to fill some more soul boxes. I throw a QED down at the ball, which makes it disappear. I grab Gersh devices again. There is a lot of mystery box hits on this map. I have to do some further, Simon Says, all very easy stuff. And once completed, I throw the Gersh on the ball, which sucks it up. And then boom, that's the entire Easter egg. Really, really, really easy. I don't know what I expected doing this Easter egg. Going in, I knew this was probably the most prominent Easter egg except for Origins. I mean, you get to blow up the bloody earth. So yeah, is it my favorite Easter egg ever? No. There is a lot of RNG to me, and the Simon Says doesn't really engage me wholly. So for me, it's not so much about the Easter eggs itself. It's about what we're doing on the map and essentially initiating rockets to blow up the earth. That makes this map so epic. I mean, for goddamn sake, you're literally playing on the moon. Now it's time for the map with the most grand and epic Easter egg ever created. I've beaten nearly every map in Zombies over the past year, and honestly, there wasn't a map I disliked wholeheartedly, but I do tend just to love COD Zombies. However, there are levels to how good Zombies maps are, and Origins is above the rest of the maps. When dealing with its main quest, there are maps which I would prefer to play casually or for high rounds, but there isn't a map like Origins that gives me a sense of awe every time I load it up to begin an almost unfathomable quest through the trenches of northern France with big robots, rain and snow, staff and tank. Now this Easter egg is absolutely massive, and I was doing multiple things at once, so until everything converges together, I'm going to be focusing on one thing at a time. The first being getting all 6 of the power generators on. The first staff I go for is the ice staff, so I get the disc and then the 3 parts. While it's snowing, I have to dig them up. Now I can enter the crazy place and get the crystal for the ice staff. Build the ice staff, go back to the crazy place and do the puzzle, shoot the 3 tombstones, shoot the orb back underground, and now I finally have the upgraded ice staff. I have done this countless times, and yet I love to do it every time. The staffs also just look incredible, especially on Chronicles. This entire video, I really haven't complimented Chronicles enough. What an incredible DLC that I've definitely appreciated more by making this video. It's crazy to think this was DLC 5 and came out after Infinite Warfare was released. You guys know how much I love Infinite Warfare, so this is pretty crazy to get Chronicles and Infinite Warfare the same year. People were definitely taking Zombies for granted, especially when you look at the state we're in now. Moving on to the wind staff, I have to shoot open 3 robot feet from 3 different robots and grab 3 different wind staff parts. I can grab the disc and grab the wind staff crystal, build the wind staff. It looks amazing when it pops out, I love it. Do the wind staff puzzle, which is really easy. Shoot the smoke towards the main dig site. Again, shoot the wind orb, and now I can place it and upgrade it. For the lightning stuff, I started doing this when the game started. I have to turn these switches in a certain direction. Grab the lightning staff disc. Use the tank, which is awesome. If you didn't see in my round 100 Black Ops 2 video, I had to use the tank to get kills when I ran out of ammo. So don't think the tank is completely useless. It definitely isn't. Especially because you can get the lightning staff parts. Even the glow of the staff part looks amazing to me. I grabbed the lightning staff crystal, build the staff, do the lightning staff puzzle, which I messed up. I have no idea how I beat it in this scenario. I was just spamming it because I messed it up. For some reason it worked for me. And because I did the switches earlier, I can shoot the lightning orb. I've used the lightning staff the least out of all of these staff, so I was kind of just practicing on the way with it. I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't even know the lightning staff just shot this big bowl of lightning out that slowly moved. Onto our final staff, which is the fire staff. This is the step that I could always do when I was a kid, and I absolutely sucked at this map. You shoot down the plane, possibly the most iconic way on Origins to get one of the parts. I feel like every kid knew how to do that, because after all, most of us were children when we played this, or teenage. I killed the Panzer of the MP40, which gave me the second part to the fire staff. staff. When I turned on all 6 generators, I was given the third part to the fire staff, picked up the fire disc, grabbed the fire crystal, built the fire staff. The animation is awesome as well when you pull it out. With the fire staff, I camp in this area and this acts as a soul box. I also multitask here as a lot of my staffs need upgrading, and to do that, they also need souls, so I'm essentially charging 2 different things at once here, the staffs and also the fire soul boxes. These markings then spawn on the wall, and I have to match them to one of the torches down by the tank that has a number resembling the symbol. Shoot the fire orb, and now I have done every single staff. All I gotta do is just get a bunch of kills with them. I pick up the wind staff again. Earlier in the game, I picked up this stone and it is dirty. So what I have to do is kill a bunch of zombies by these soul boxes. Once I've filled 4 chests to capacity, I get given an ability from the box from which I do increase melee damage. The wind staff further increases my damage, so I place the stone here and it acts as a soul box now, only with melee kills. So I have to get a certain amount of melee kills and then the stone is cleaned. With the stone cleaned, I can pick it up, and all I've got to do is make sure I don't put my feet on mud. As I make my way all the way back to where I collected the stone, it acts as a soul box again, but only with my melee. Luckily, the staff increases my melee damage even more because it is round 17. And as a reward, I get given the G-Strike grenade. They essentially act like monkey bombs, but with missiles landing on its target. I go back to the crazy place just to finally finish off every single one of these staffs, as they do require a certain amount of souls to be completely finished. Picking them all up from this altar brings them back to their original place of creation, from which I've placed the fire staff. I have to wait for the middle robot to come, and with the wind staff, I can place it into here, which is the Odin robot. I do need to put the lightning staff into this robot here, but that's one of my biggest fails. I don't know how I missed the foot there. Very lucky I have the golden helmet, so it doesn't do extra damage. But finally, the robot comes. It took about 50 minutes, I'm not even kidding, for that robot to come back down that lane again, and I can put the lightning staff in the Thor robot, and then the ice staff into the Freya robot. I make sure to pack-a-punch the STG at this stage, as I will need a normal weapon later on. But for now, I can re-pick up the upgraded fire staff. Now, this is where things can get really intense. There's a robot coming down the middle. I need to get into one of his feet. Luckily, the direction I'm going is where the foot can open. So I hop into his foot, and I need to press this red button and jump straight out. I throw the G-Strike grenade, and I need to throw it in a specific location. I definitely missed there, so I threw it again. It landed right where I needed to, and I thought I'd ran out of time because you only have a certain amount of time after you click the button. But luckily, the G-Strike broke a hole in the ground there. I can then build the Maxis drone. I didn't know what my bind was to bring out the Maxis drone, so I accidentally pulled it out here. I couldn't even find it in the air for a second, but eventually I did. It killed that zombie. I thought I just completely messed up. However, it came over towards me and went into the hole that I just exploded. If you've done this Easter egg, it's most likely you've never forgotten this step, because about 10 panzers jump out of the hole. The fire staff upgraded is insane though, so the panzers really didn't trouble me. Just before I killed the last panzer, I got a zombie blood, which is massive. I also get a death machine, take out that last panzer. I need to look in the sky with the zombie blood. This is the only way I'm going to see the plane in the air. After a little bit of time, I found it, shot it, tried to run around the map as fast as I possibly could, and with only seconds to spare, I run into the zombie that has the Maxis drone now. I make my way back down to the staffs and use my melee ability to knock the mist off the zombies. And once completed, I pick up the stone and I can move on to the very end of the Easter egg, where I place the staffs in the crazy place, and all I have to do is kill a bunch of zombies, about a round or 2 of zombies. Their souls are absorbed, and I have to place the Maxis drone in this location here, and it will go up into the sky. I was having a bit of trouble finding where to teleport here, but eventually I pressed on it, and boom, I finally completed Origins. I remember playing this map. I think I was 13, and I was having the hardest time ever. I could barely build a staff other than the fire one, and I would always just repeat the intro and just see how epic this map was. It was just too hard for me. And about 10 or so years later, I've finally beaten it. That is absolutely crazy. I hope for you guys this also bring a lot of memories back. One of my favorite things is to see the comments of you guys sharing the nostalgia that is zombies. Sometimes I can't really share the nostalgia, like with World War II Zombies. I barely ever played that game until I made the video. But with this video, I played Origins. I played Tranzit when I was a kid. But for Tranzit, I didn't even know there was an Easter egg. And Origins, it was out of my reach entirely. I don't know what you guys were like when you were playing Origins 10 or so years ago. But it's crazy to think zombies is still going and Origins holds up today, in my opinion, as the best Easter egg quest to ever be made. So in this video, we beat all of the possible Chronicles maps and Transit. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. This might be the last video where I beat a game. I did also beat Extinction and Dead Ups Arcade, so I've beat a lot of stuff. I'm pretty sure I've ran out of stuff to beat. I've had a lot of fun on this journey. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed it too. Zombies really has an amazing community, and there's no doubt it's a very special side mode that Call of Duty made.